Good evening. Thank you for your support by attending this evening's Memorial Vigil. My name is Jim Highland. I'm Roundy's Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs. Our program will commence momentarily, but first a few housekeeping notes. For those of you that parked in the 875 East Wisconsin Building Garage, the gates will lock again at 7:30. If anyone in attendance today has need of a restroom, our building, 875 East Wisconsin, will allow you to use the first floor restrooms. Just let the guard know. I know many of you have already been vaccinated, but we ask that you do your best to maintain proper social distancing. At the end of the program this evening, please take a flower with you. There's plenty of flowers here in honor of the fallen. And one final note, this vigil is being broadcast live to the Roundy's Distribution Center in Oconomowoc. Let me briefly review who's present who'll be speaking today. Oconomowoc Mayor Robert Magnus joins us today. Michael Marks, President of the Roundy's Division of the Kroger Company. Tim Massa and Gabriel Arrega of Kroger. Tim is the Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer, and Gabriel is the Senior Vice President and Supply Chain, heads up Supply Chain. We also have with us Pastor Lisa Bates Frohlan of Redeemer Lutheran Church in Milwaukee. Also present are members of senior management from both Roundy's and the Kroger Company. Robert Magnus is the mayor of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, home of our distribution center. Mayor, before I ask you to step to the podium, permit me on behalf of Roundy's and the Kroger Company to thank you and your city for all you have done for us during this tragic event. From the initial actions of your first responders to the outpouring of support from the Oconomowoc community, we thank you from the depths of our heart. We know tragedies like this one greatly affect our communities, and the response from the Oconomowoc community went above and beyond. Mayor.
Thank you. On behalf of the city of Oconomowoc, we're very, very saddened, and this is one of those events none of us wants to be at. As I was driving in today, I was trying to think of words that I could use, phrases I could say to try to give the immediate families comfort and our greater family of all the folks in Roundy's. You've been such a huge group and a huge asset to our community, and we've really enjoyed having you there for many, many years. But I can't come up with any words. There's nothing that comes to mind that really reflects what so many of you have gone through. And I just want you to know that the city of Oconomowoc, all of our folks there are here for you, and we wish you nothing but the best. And you are part of our family. Roundy's, you are part of the Oconomowoc family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Michael Marks is the president of the Roundy's Division of the Kroger Company. Michael.
Thank you, Jim. I think first and foremost, let me thank all of the folks that have ventured out here today. Looking across the audience, we see people from all over our division, as far away as Appleton, the Fox Valley area, Illinois, Chicago, and then certainly our DC at Oconomowoc. You know, I think it's hard to put into words, as the mayor said. Recently, the tragedy at the Roundy's Distribution Center in Oconomowoc has truly turned our world upside down. Losing the lives of co-workers in a tragedy that really no one should ever have to go through. We're grieving for the families, and we're also grieving for our fellow associates who were involved in this very tragic event. We know it's human nature that we grieve. We know that we need to take time and reflect. We also know how precious life is, and that's why we're here today. You know, life has tested us this past year. We've challenged our teams with an event which is once in a lifetime, COVID. a lifetime pandemic. Our Roundy's team has shown a tremendous amount of resilience and team spirit, and like anything I've ever seen in my career. Our distribution center team is truly the backbone of our operation. They went far above and beyond during the pandemic, keeping our communities fed, the Wisconsinites fed, the Illinoisans fed, and giving of themselves every single day. What they accomplished during the pandemic is truly phenomenal. That's why this tragic event is so sad. We lost some heroes this past week. Life, once again, is asking us to come together. That's why we're here today. And show our resilience, and certainly show our team spirit, because this is a time for healing. So let's honor those who were lost by remembering them for the contributions they made during the past years that they worked with us. Leaders help other leaders grow. I think the best tribute we can pay to these associates is to use our leadership talents to help others grow. As we know, they were great leaders and helped others grow. We're going to continue to do our very best to remember and memorialize the lives of our fellow workers. This is truly just the beginning. Before us lies the challenge of returning to normal, a difficult task. How do we conquer grief? Grief is a tangible thing. You feel it, you see it, you think it, but grief is only one part of the tragedy. The other tragedy, the other part, is losing a loved one. There's a quote by an anonymous writer that reads, "When we lose somebody we love, we must learn to live not without them, but to live with them and the love they left behind, the memories they left behind, the impact they left behind." I'll end my remarks by saying our hearts truly go out to the Schneider family. Our hearts truly go out to the Cloth family. We understand your pain, and we share your pain. Perhaps we'll never know why it happened. However, one thing can be assured is what's embedded in that quote. We will learn to live with the love they left behind. The spirit and the memories are ever present. So thank you for being here this evening. We are coming together and giving each other strength. We are 23,000 associates strong at the Roundy's organization, serving communities in Wisconsin and in Illinois. Together, we will grieve. Together, we will remember. And together, we will support each other to move forward. Thank you. And Jim, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Michael. With us from the Kroger Company today is Tim Massa, who's the Senior Vice President, Chief People Officer of the Kroger Company, and Gabriel Orega, who's the Senior Vice President and heads up supply chain for the Kroger Company. Tim, Gabriel.
Good evening. Thank you again for being here today. The commitment you're showing to our associates and, importantly, the families of our lost ones is overwhelming. This afternoon, I joined Gabriel and Michael along with several other members of our management team, several who have been here since Wednesday, working hand in hand with our distribution center associates. We met, as we have been meeting for several days, with various members of our associates, our leadership team, and supervisors. Striking is the care and concern that each and every one of them has for each other, importantly for the families and our co-workers that we lost. On behalf of the Kroger Company, We're in 35 states in the District of Columbia, and along with those 23,000 strong Roundy's men and women, we're over 500,000 associates. And this is unlike anything we've experienced in our 138-year-old history. And I can assure you that we mourn across the enterprise with you here today and since this incident, this tragic incident. We're deeply committed to this area, to the distribution center in Oconomowoc, to this wonderful Roundy's divisions, to the 106 stores that are Pick and Save in Metro, and also our 44 stores in Mariano's that make up the flagship of Roundy's. We're committed to the associates and their families. That will not change. You know, it's times like this that this company called the Kroger Company and its family of companies like Roundy's comes together like no other. We've seen it in the pandemic. We've seen it over this last summer in the listening sessions on racial injustice. We see it in hurricanes and weather-related items. And unfortunately, we see it in tragic incidents like this. We come together like one. I'm amazed at the number of associates that have come across the country that are working right now in Oconomowoc, shoulder to shoulder with our associates. They jumped in cars, they jumped on planes, and they were here in a heartbeat. I'm also told of the amazing and incredible support this wonderful community has given to Roundy's. As you all know, it's an iconic name in this great state, and your true sense of community as Wisconsinites has never been more prevalent. I want to commend Jim Highland for putting this vigil together with the Roundy's team. As Michael talked a lot about grief tonight, we are grieving, but we're also beginning the first step of healing. And this is the first example of us coming together to heal. It won't happen overnight. But I can assure you this team that's been here and this team that arrived today, it's not a one-time event. We'll be here throughout. Every day, each day, it'll get just a little bit better as we remember the wonderful co-workers who we lost. And we remember their great families. And we will help us move forward. Thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce Gabriel Arriaga, our Senior Vice President of Supply Chain.
Thank you all for being here. I'd like to read some things out loud, not only for the families that are here with us today, but also with the hundreds of associates that join us through our webcams in our distribution center in Oconomowoc. I look around this vigil knowing that we are hurting. Families that we hold in our thoughts and prayers have been deeply saddened by this tragedy. But this is where we choose to be, close to our neighbors and family in unison. We pray for the peace and serenity to heal and for the strength and fortitude to support one another. We know the road to healing is long, but one we must walk and grieve along the way. So let us remember our colleagues as sons, brothers, fathers, and husbands. Tonight, we will light candles in memory of all we have lost, not just with overpowering sadness, but also with honor and gratitude for the time and experiences we've had and the recollections we'll carry with us of these family members, loved ones, colleagues, and members of our community. These candles will generate a sliver of warmth, maybe not felt far away, but felt here to reignite the hope and strength of our community. Let us rely on our values even more today to lead us on our paths. And when the time comes, not forget, but honor our family members that we have lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Gabriel. Pastor Lisa Bates Froylan is with us today. I specifically sought out Pastor Lisa for this evening's vigil. Unfortunately, Pastor Lisa has dealt with this type of tragedy before, having played a role in comforting and healing families during the Molson Coors tragedy. Fortunately for us, she's agreed to be here this evening to help us heal. Pastor Lisa.
Each of you made a decision this evening. You decided to do whatever it took to bring yourself, your whole self, to this place, near this beautiful piece of architecture, and beyond it, the massive freshwater lake. To it, you bring your shock and your grief, your unsettled hearts and minds. In the wake of something so sudden, unforeseen, it would make sense if you both felt wired and tired this evening. Loved ones lost instantaneously with no opportunity for goodbye. Whatever those last words were, those were the last words. None of you knew that in the span of these days, these months, when you've already lost loved ones, another more would die, and these last suddenly and violently. And while the temptation might be strong to arrive at some motive, construct some theory, and rally to a cause, it's not time for that tonight. Not here. Not as you stand shoulder to shoulder with one another, because what we certainly know is true is this: families are grieving hard. Co-workers are stunned and sad. Many of you have such long histories with these men. And a company strives to rise to this moment after a full year of stepping up to the awesome task of feeding and supplying all of us throughout the pandemic. Now it's time to pause and to reflect on this tremendous loss, to breathe deeply and to comfort one another with the same pure love our Creator extends to us. We deeply need, and we are provided, reassurance of divine presence, especially in a time like this. Time to join hearts in mutual grief, to show the best of humanity in terms of capacity for care, compassion, and understanding. Other large companies who have experienced similar tragedies are reaching out to the Roundy's family with the simple message: we know something of what you're going through, and we support you. Even I know a little bit about this pain. The church I serve on Wisconsin Avenue and 19th Street will soon mark the 2nd anniversary of a murder on our east steps. It is so jarring when something like this happens. It feels like an invasion of the soul, and even more so for those who were very close to those who died. You miss them. You love them. And the missing and the loving will go on and on. You made a decision tonight. You decided to affirm the lives lost. They mattered. They mattered to you. You affirmed the human need to gather and to grieve. You decided to plunge in and feel the feelings, perhaps cry the tears that are simultaneously messages of love and loss. Roundy's is the kind of business that can't stop for long, ever, because it is in the business of feeding people, no matter what. But for now, any time that you can set aside, Roundy's family, feed your soul and your spirit with the time and the gentleness that something like this really requires. These are times when, as a Christian pastor, I lean into the image of Jesus as the Good Shepherd. Like the stained glass window way up high at the front of my church, Jesus carrying a lamb in his arms. I pray that each of you mourning, struggling, sad and bewildered, will have a moment at least when you also will feel held and carried by a power far beyond any of us. I invite you to pray with me if you choose. Gracious and compassionate God, again we gather, again we grieve, again we struggle to understand, Again, we ask for your aid and your comfort. Again, we seek solace in each other and through you. Again, we seek healing, courage, and strength for another shift, another day, another opportunity to decide. No one here would have chosen the incident that brings us here right now, but so help us, God, to respond to losses this tragic with unified compassion and hearts both broken and full. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Lisa. At this point in the vigil, I ask that we light our candles in a spirit of unity. Once your candle is lit, please light the person's candle next to you. Once we have done so, there will be a poetry reading followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. I wrote this poem last evening. I've been very close to this situation since it started. And it's titled A Light in the Darkness. Our heroes have fallen. We don't understand. Grief is constant. Emptiness our fear. We hear consolation. It echoes in our mind. We open a book, but a chapter is missing. We're confused. We're sad. We spot an eagle in the distance, a guardian spirit soaring high, protector of the tribe, a symbol of love, honor, friendship. Their spirit now with us, rising high in the sky. Our tears subside as they watch over us. Let's light 1,000 candles, bring brightness to the night, and if a strong wind blows, our flames remain alight, for our heroes have returned. Thank you. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. This concludes the evening's vigil. Thank you to our speakers and all of you for attending and supporting the families. Please take a flower on the way out to honor those that have fallen. Thank you once again.